Welcome to another episode of Sam Makes Terrible Financial Choices. What's worse than having one TD in your life, folks? Having two, that's right. But what's worse than having two TDs in your life? When they're both blown up. Now today, we're going to try and make two blown up TDs into hopefully one good functioning spicy TD, but I say that with bated breath because on our way here today, Corey called me and said, mate, you know that good TD you have? We found some things that are a little bit concerning. So we're going to start tearing it down today, hopefully start machining it and see what we're dealing with. This GQ build is either going to go from strength to strength or it's about to grind to a halt very quickly. Let's see what we're dealing with. Going to interrupt Corey mid-work. Jump up here, son. I've got some questions for you. For starters, this is our good TD. You called me this morning and said you need to hurry up because we found something concerning in the good one. What did you find this morning?
I don't know if I should tell you or just show you.
Perfect. Okay. I think we'll show the folks because I'm pretty sure when we open that drain plug, all will be revealed. How many TDs do you reckon you've taken apart and done up in your life?
More than I could count.
Yeah, okay. So we've come to the right place at least. So if this has really shit the bed and everything is bad, we've at least got the master at work here. What's the process going to be this morning? Just start pulling bits apart and see what we're dealing with?
Absolutely. We'll strip it all down and we'll see what we can find. All going well, we'll be able to build an engine. All going shit, we will work out how to build an engine.
Perfect. Now, what you guys wouldn't have seen in the last episode is, obviously, this is the engine we dropped off. In the meantime, I thought, you know what, I may as well throw some money in the bin and buy a second TD. Because this was going to be the most cost-effective way for me to get all the bolt-on on the outside. I think that's got a two-piece crank. It certainly doesn't look that pretty. So I think what we're going to do is try to use this block and head maybe with some of the bits from that. And maybe at some point in this episode, we're going to pull the sump off that and see if it is actually a two-piece crank and just how destructed it is. But in the meantime, I'm actually going to help Corey pull this apart. I know, crazy. Clean hand Sam getting stuck into it, but I reckon we do this.
Let's make it happen.
This is what I'm not looking forward to.
I mean, it's still black enough, but there's definitely water through it.
Why is it?
Did you play with Play-Doh as a kid?
This is the grossest.
Oh, there we go. There's the water.
It was like.
There's oil.
What the is even? Oh.
Brother.
What is that? Why does it look like that? I've never seen like pockets of water inside of congealed oil before, but I think that's what I'm witnessing.
I mean, at least it's like fresh water and it's not green.
True. Like rainwater, which is what you want in the engine that we're about to make 1,000 horsepower out of. Sorry, that was wrong episode. Right, we're going to pull it. Just got like two more bolts up here. Pull them off and see how much putridness hides within this TD sum. What you don't want to find is large sheets of metal from, I don't even know. I mean, you don't want to find sludge either, but large pieces of metal is definitely not on your Christmas wish list. Where all TD parts belong, in the bin. Oh no. Okay, so what you don't want is cracks in your head, and thankfully...
No one likes a crackhead.
No one likes a crackhead, and thankfully we've got many. Give us the tour to crack.
Tour to crack. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5. Crack here, another little crack there.
Let's see. Okay, so basically between every valve and also just everywhere, everything.
Between the valve pre-com to the valve, and behind the valve insert.
That's heaps JDM.
I thought you bought me a good engine.
This is like quintessential marketplace fucking TD situation. This is.
But it's freshly been machined.
Yeah, why does it look like that? But then all of this. Okay, so this is sort of the moment of truth. We've got the squirters out, cam out, crank out, bearings out. It's hard to say at this point. The next steps are pretty simple, and I guess that's the beautiful thing about doing this project here at Donnelly's, is because he has all of the tooling and the machining ability to go from straight away torn down engine to fault finding and working out a game plan. So from here, what's the move?
From here, we will strip the rest of the engine down, clean it all up, have a look visually to see if we can see any damage / cracks. Once we've done that, we'll set it up in the hone and run a hone through the bores, see what the block measures up at. If all goes well and the block's okay, we'll go for a 10th thou oversized back liner and get around it that way. If the block's not okay, we'll have to look into other options of possibly re-sleeving the apparent bore of the block.
All sounds really laboursome, cumbersome, expensive, and sad. So hopefully it's option A. But anyway, let's get cracking. So, whilst the block is in the hot wash, getting ready for us to then press those liners out, Kyron has just basically done a magnetic crack test on the head and revealed a whole lot of bad things. So what they pretty much do is squirt a whole bunch of steak spice seasoning, it looks like, but it's magnetic dust, and it's going to pull the dust into the cracks, and basically cracks that you wouldn't see with your eye, this makes it really apparent. So we can see now that this head has got, I don't even know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, probably close to a dozen cracks in all the places you wouldn't want to have them. And I think the general consensus is that this is going to go in the bin. It also looks like it's had water in the cylinders and at least all the intake ports. So I think this has had a pretty rough life. We've been sitting for a while. I don't think there's going to be any point salvaging this. So we might end up pulling the head off that one and see what state that's in. Otherwise, it could be new head time. Okay, so the boys are just pressing out the liners on the 60-ton press behind me, which you can probably see. We've got one of them out already, and I just thought I'd quickly bring it in here and give you the rundown. So we thought when we were cleaning it up that he noticed one of the other liners, I think this is cylinder 5, was cracking at the top here. And it's really hard to see, obviously, when it's in the engine or from the outside, but on the inside, it's actually fractured the entire way around there. So this was very close to catastrophic failure as well, much like the other cylinder was. I think so far, the consensus is we'll be able to salvage this block, which is ideal. But yeah, definitely not as good a condition engine as what we thought we were buying, but thankfully it was more money, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, it's been a massive day here at Donnelly's Engineering. The team have absolutely smashed it. Up in the back, we've got the acid bath. That's got a whole bunch of brackets, oil filter assembly, oil cooler, and that sort of thing, bathing. Probably leave that overnight, strip all the filth and junk. The parts washer, the hot wash has been going all freaking day, cleaning up everything that we can possibly get clean. Coming over here, what you're gonna see is the saddest TD known to man. Again, no fault of the engines, just the fault of the owner. We are waiting on parts now. Unfortunately, the front timing cover where the water pump sits has, I guess, basically been eroded away by really hot water and cavitation issues. We've got a pump going on here, which you will see in the next episode, but we want this to be brand new, nice and shiny for longevity and I guess the health of the motor. So that's a worthwhile part to wait for. That should be here tomorrow. The boys have been absolutely smashing it out. The block's ready for honing. I reckon we'll wrap it up here, call it a day, and we'll be back here in the morning, ready to do it all again.
Tomorrow.
All right, the boys are already in the thick of it. Day 2 here at Donnelly Engineering, and they've done God's work to get us a little bit of a head start today. Puts us in really good standing for the rest of today. They've already got the new liners in the block, which is a simple process. You heat up the block, you put the liners in the freezer overnight, and they just drop in. The new heads arrived, which is exciting. You're gonna have to hang around a little bit because we have got some very cool stuff that we're gonna run you through regarding that head. Doing a bit of myth busting, it's gonna be really cool. Anyway, let's go see Kyron on the honing machine because I think that's where we're up to. So we've got a new block with the new liners in on the honing machine. We are now just dropping the head studs in because we've got that torque plate on as well, so that we can basically simulate the head being on for this process. So we're just going to chuck some ARP lube on all of these, hand wind them in a little bit, and then we will come through and actually torque them up before machining. Okay, so we're getting to the pointy end of things now, which is super exciting. We've got the block and the torque plate all loaded into the honing machine. We're about to take 15 thou out of these semi-finished liners, or unfinished liners, I believe. We're actually using oversized back liners for a little bit of additional strength in this TD because we want this thing to crank. So this is the roughing process. We're going to do this through all 6 cylinders. We're going to hand over to Kyron to do the finishing process. And then once that's done, we can move from here. We can go start looking at the head and get it ready for assembly. You guys will have to see that in another episode. Anyway, let's get this done. Okay, so this is a familiar sight. This is our good head from our good engine that we crack tested yesterday and came back as complete garbage, ready to throw in the ocean. Now, genuine TD42 heads are no longer available from Nissan, parts OUQ. We couldn't get our hands on them. We think this is going to be our best option, an aftermarket TD42T head from SMS. Now, there's a couple of schools of thought here that if you do enough death scrolling and enough late night reading in forums and on Instagram, etc., that people will think that an aftermarket head may not flow as much as a genuine head and may not make as much power. Now, if you do enough research and digging and scrolling like what Corey did last night, you will find exactly what they're talking about. And we are going to do everything we can here to make this head flow as much, if not more, than that genuine head. And I'm super excited to run you guys through that. But you're going to have to wait until the next episode to find out those secrets. This is almost ready for assembly once we've done our little sneaky mods to it. The block is almost done on the honing machine. We get to send everything off for balancing, get it back and start assembling it with some very spicy internals. But not just that, we're going to give you some industry secrets, some little tips and tricks that are going to help you guys make and build the most powerful, most reliable TDs you possibly can. We're combining a whole bunch of knowledge into one little episode, bit of a Bible, if you will, but you're gonna have to wait until the next engine episode for that. If you've liked this, make sure you subscribe, drop a comment, share this around to your mates. If you have any technical questions, need some help with your own engine build, make sure you hit up the team at Donnelly Engineering. Anyway, we'll see you next Thursday.